code.
Wait a minute.
DRG.
Okay, yeah.
Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind.
Unscramble mind. Unscramble mind.
All right, Sister Frida. And then you have to unmute Sister Frida and go off mute.
Do I need to unmute?
Not yet, Dr. Lee. I think you're still muted, Sister Frida. Welcome, everybody. It's Unscrambled Minds. Sorry, there you go. You're unmuted now.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave it right where it's at, just in case, because I'm having a little difficulties over here with my computer. Okay. Hello, everybody. Y'all know I'm Sister Freedom, and always got something going on with this crazy computer. But tonight, we got Dr. G in the house. You in the house, Dr. G?
I'm here.
Okay. I'm just going to, it's so much to say about her. I'm just going to run this down. Okay, she's an educator, an author, metaphysical teacher, energy wellness advocate, and a visionary. And she's the founder of House of Reawakening Minds. So I'm just going to say that about you and let everybody else introduce themselves and then get back to you. Go ahead, everybody. Introduce yourself.
Well, hey, happy Monday, everyone. I know it's unusual for us. I'm Dulcie.
It is Monday, Annie. I'm Nisha.
And it's D to the O to the T to the S. It's Dots, Daughters of the Sea. Welcome, everybody. On set 333 was the first one in here. A Mary Gal, Dark Chief, Sekhmet. Welcome, family.
Okay. All right, we're going to get started because this computer has been going crazy all night. Anyway, Dr. G, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself?
Well, since everybody did an introduction, may I introduce my friend and colleague that I invited to come on for a portion of that? So we have one brother in the house online, and that's Dr. Ayatasi Lee L. I'm so happy that he agreed to come on and share part of this interview with me, particularly because I'm so excited about the work that he does. He is a naturopath and he's a master herbalist. He's a Reiki master and a pioneering energy therapist for an emerging, hopefully, what he deals with is but he deals with holistic health in such a way that's frequency and plant-based. We've been getting away from so much of the allopathic methods of what they term as healing. And he, along with his colleagues, have found a way to harness the energy of plants into frequency and deliver amazing results. So I'm so excited about him being uh, us being connected as we are, and what he may be able to share for the time that he has, because he does have a client that he has to see tonight, because he has a plane to catch tomorrow early. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy that Dr. Ayatassi L of the Simple Truth LLC out of
Nice.
Georgia is here online with us tonight. Thank you.
Gratitude. Gratitude for that introduction, Dr. G. And you explained the energy science really well. So I just want to applaud you on that. You've been really listening in.
Well,
So,
yeah,
mhm,
yeah. Thanks. I've learned a lot from you, but I learned a lot over the last 6 years of dealing, with AO scans and other
it's
frequencies and
universal.
like therapy and things that it's growing. And I know that's not what the topic that they put, you all put down. We're going to talk about, but it's one of the things we were going to talk about. And I know he has a client that he has to see even at this late hour. So I wanted to get that portion, if you don't mind,
Hmm.
of what I'm doing along with Dr. Lee in the energy wellness space, and then we can get into me,
Okay.
if you all
Well,
don't mind.
Also,
Thank
Dr. Lee and Dr.
you.
G, if you guys have websites or contact that you would like me to put in the chat, just let me know, and I can put that in the chat for you so people know how to
I'll
reach
type
out.
it in.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, I can type it in the studio chat for you all, Dr.
Yeah,
Lee, and
perfect.
okay, we'll certainly do that. Yeah, but
Okay. So the website is generally where you can find everything that we're speaking about. And I'm Dr. Lee Atasili L. How is everybody? Good evening to you. Um,
me too as well.
I've been into the health and wellness field for over 10 years in practice, but about 18, 19 years in general. Uh, my first why client was my mother, and she was dealing with kidney failure, high blood pressure, migraine headaches, using narcotics. I'm not narcotic. What is it? Drugs for headaches and blood pressure medications, of course, and also BC powders for pain, and it caused her to have stomach cancer. How about I got rid of all of that for her with
Mm.
natural remedies? Yeah, and the first thing we did was get her kidneys up to par in 2 weeks. So I took her to the doctor. She was dealing with kidney failure. She was at a 40 GFR. And the doctor said, in 2 weeks, when you return, we're going to have to put you on dialysis because he doesn't see it going up from there. He sees it going down from there. And when we came back, she had went up to a 90 GFR, and just in 2 weeks. So the doctor was very surprised. He definitely didn't have to put her on dialysis. She's been off of blood pressure medications for about 18 years. No medications right now. Kidneys are doing fine. She's doing well. 67 years old, young, and just doing her thing without drugs. She calls me, thanks me all the time. She says, she appreciates me helping her realize the importance of doing things naturally, because all of her family members are on medications. They walk around with bags full of medications, walkers, canes, wheelchairs, and just not doing well. And they're in the same age group, and she's not doing all those things. She's walking on her own and taking trips, just doing things that she wants to do at her age without being tied down by medications and the side effects of those medications, especially dealing with mobility issues. So it's just a blessing. It's really, it's even more, it's a blessing because we get to explore how the body can heal itself by using natural remedies. And we don't pay attention how the body's not healing when you're using unnatural remedies. It's just being masked by um, the band-aid that the medical community has for you. So education is one thing that I'm really big on. Just doing consultation, teaching people how to do it for themselves, and you can access the tools that I use on my website, and also just through the consultations themselves, because we always offer lifestyle changes and adjustments that you can do to make things faster for you, with your recovery and repairing the body from damage. So there's nothing I can't help the body with. Just to give you a quick rundown, my mother with the dialysis thing, kidneys, to repair kidneys. I help people get off dialysis every year. And the key to doing that is helping them learn that they don't need to have drugs to keep their blood pressure in check. there's a natural way they can do it. That way, the kidneys can bounce back because the kidneys have to filter everything that comes through the body, especially the medications. Medications hit the kidneys the hardest. So that's why over time, the kidney GFR goes down around 40, 39. And at that point, the doctor is talking about putting you on a machine to help you with your kidney function. So we always want to help people educate on how to avoid that. And it's pretty simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. You just have to be consistent, diligent, and aware of what's needed to be done. And you can get wherever you want with repairing your body as far as your body can go. Yeah. Any
I got a
questions?
yeah, I
Yeah,
do. I have a question. When you talk about dealing with energy
sure.
and mobility, wait a minute, let me bring Dulcie back. She up there. Okay. Say if somebody had bad arthritis, have you helped someone that had arthritis, and would that be a herbal thing, or would that be an energy thing?
Mm,
When I
it's
say
all
energy, like mind, like uh some people are so bad that they walk bent over, their bodies have actually turned from arthritis. When it gets that bad, is there anything that you have that can possibly help that?
nope.
Okay.
Nobody can. So there's a point of no return. That's what you're referring to, right? When they look real, real, real bad and nobody can help them. Can I help them? I can help them, but when you get to the point where you damage your body to the point of no return, the only way I can help you is as far as your body can go. What I was saying earlier, as far as your body can repair itself and get back to. So say you're playing basketball and you tear your Achilles. I can help you get back to playing basketball again, but maybe not to the athletic level where you were before. But you will
Oh.
be able to do the fundamentals. So, because you tore it up, there's no way nobody can put it to where it'll function as good as it was when before it was torn. But it will be repaired and you will be functional. Some
Mm.
people can tear it up to the point where they're not even going to ever walk again. You know, and so no. So the answer is no. But yeah, arthritis, that's something you need to look at herbally because there's obviously a deficiency. And then also you got to look at lifestyle because you could just be a really athletic person playing in the NBA, and arthritis. And you need just certain things. You got to look at conditions and environmental conditions, like where you live or whatever you do for work. And then, of course, nutrition and deficiencies. So that's why consultations are very important because you got to ask a lot of questions to see where the person really is in life and how they're operating on their day to day basis to ascertain what supplements they would need or what therapies would be best. But we do have a way that they can get both at one time through this website called Alice, and it has the digital version of the supplements, which are plant based signatures of our long lasting, long used line that we've been doing internationally for the past 20 years plus. Kidney Restore, Blood Pressure Balance among the top two that we
Mhm.
use to help people get off dialysis, just to help, because you always need some help when you're trying to boost the kidney function. Eating good is great and, keeping the pressure off of the kidneys from the digestive system. But if you have something that can boost the kidneys, that would be ideal. And we do have that. Yeah. Like I said, I help people get off dialysis every year. And they normally say it's 1 in a million. But my numbers and ratio is far greater than that. And yours can be too. Anybody that learns this process and how to use these tools can do the same thing and be the one in your family to help everyone else.
I
So I'm
got
just like,
one more
go ahead.
question. Okay, the
Hmm.
other question that I have is people. I'm going to say, how can I say this? Copper color people of America. I'm a, if in, I'm gonna say it like that.
Okay.
What supplements? I mean, what deficiencies do you find the most that they are deficient? Is it like vitamin D? Is it magnesium? Is it the B's? Are they most deficient in these particular supplements? Are they deficient in those? All the B's, vitamin
Hmm.
D, magnesium, because even with me, and I go get my test done, it's always that I need vitamin D. And I'm like, I'm always taking it, but still, the vitamin D, which ones do you find most that people of color are deficient in?
I don't test for vitamin deficiency. What I do is I ascertain through consultations the lifestyle and the diet of the person. And that would tell me what they're deficient in also. And according to what their diagnosis is, it tells me what they're deficient in. And I can go from there. Everybody's vitamin D deficient, 20% um, below what the normal is because of environmental issues is how we're living these days. You can supplement it, but there's not much you can do. You can get a lot of sun. It will help it balance out, but it's just our environment right now. Everybody is vitamin D deficient for sure. It's just how bad you get to where it makes you sick. So you definitely want to take precautions to get as much vitamin D naturally as you can, and just keep the levels up high as you can because everyone's deficient. And I can't explain it, and science just says that that's how it is now with the sun and how the atmospheric pressure, whatever they're doing. I don't know why we're not getting all the vitamin D that we're supposed to have. Oh, but yeah, I don't test for that. That's just not something that I do, and look at the stats for it. But it is easy to find out. However, everybody seems to have high blood pressure, so everybody seems to be filling those beds up in the dialysis centers. And like I said, blood pressure, high blood pressure, hypertension is the gateway to dialysis. So the medication has a part in that, and I just have a solution for needing a medication for high blood pressure. And it's two supplements, and you can get them physically or digitally. And I recommend you get it digitally because it's cost effective. And by being cost effective, I mean like one supplement costs $65. You can have access to this website and use these digital supplements, all of them, and it costs $65. So it's just a no-brainer when it comes to if you go to my website, you order some herbs, two supplements that have you at $300 almost. But if you get it from the digital supplement website, then you can get all of the supplements. There's 52 supplements, and they work. This is not a gimmick. This is really the future. Star Trek is here, and we're making supplements through frequency from the original plant-based signatures. And it is delivering it into the body so that the body realizes that it has ingested that supplement, and it still responds the same way and helps the body repair itself. Yeah.
Okay. I did put the link, by the way. I'm not sure if it's Dots or whomever. I put the link for that. It's called Alice. He's Dr. Lee is referring to, and that is the amazing not just one of the amazing things that I've been able to become connected with, and I'm just so grateful, just personally, that I have the opportunity to meet great minds and great talented, men and women like Dr. Ayatollah Lee L. And one of the things I appreciate about Dr. Lee, and I'm saying it as if you're not realizing that, but one of the things I appreciate about him is his humility. There's a lot of times that people with the knowledge and the abilities and the track record, if you look on his YouTube page, I think it's one called Ask Dr. Lee, and then it's the Simple Truth LLC, where there are different testimonies of things that are so, the people are right. You're seeing from his treatment to within 5 to 7 minutes, they're giving a testimony. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, so they're giving a testimony of their ability now to do something they couldn't. They were shot, and the nerves in the arm was. I saw a young lady who was shot in her arm.
Well, I gotta go. I'm sorry to delete so quickly. It was a pleasure.
Okay. It was
I
nice.
can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
We have to set up another time and have you on.
I apologize. Maybe on my end. But anyway, I appreciate you guys having me on. Get in contact with me if you got the information. Okay?
Okay.
I can't hear anything you guys saying. Love and light.
Love and light, Dr. Lee. Yeah. I'm just happy that he was able to okay. Yeah. I'm just, what I was saying is that he's a very humble man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, the more you know, we've seen some folk, they on, they're experts at what they're at, what they're experts at. But there's a few that I see that are humble, but there's so many people that are arrogant and really secretive with the knowledge that they have. And we're at a time now where more than ever, we need to be bringing out those natural remedies and solutions to heal ourselves, our families, our community, and our nation, because we do know that we're under attack. We do know that there are things environmentally that are being waged upon the populace, and some more than others when it comes to, who we are. We're getting, even though, like I said, I think it's a little bit of us and everybody. So oftentimes, even the unintended folks become casualties of the war against us, if you know what I mean. So
Right.
you might wage war against the melanin, but you're going to get some of the other ones because we're in everyone. We're there's a little bit of us in everybody. So, but this ability to take, as Dr. Lee was saying, an herbal supplement that might cost $60 to $80 or notes, whatever Federal Reserve notes, for a 30-day supply. What he and Dr. Peters, the formulator, have been able to do, what Dr. Peters has been able to do, is to actually capture the signature of every plant needed for a specific ailment and make its energetic signature available through frequency, which proves that we are all energy and we are all frequency. Everything has a frequency. We may not think we're given, something that we think that's inanimate or that's animate, or that's just a leaf and it's just hanging on the tree. But that leaf has a whole, if you will, architecture, if you will, art ecosystem within it. I saw something recently, and they had taken, I'm not even sure where it was from, but they had literally taken a plant, a seed, and did some type of test to find out what was in the seed. And when they were able to, I heard a guy giving this story. So this doctor was able to, or scientist was able to create a picture or camera that took a picture of something and allowed you to go back into its past, like, Back to the Future. So the government didn't believe the thing was what it was, but they used it on a leaf. I believe it was a seed. I'm sorry. And when they took the picture of the seed, they saw the whole tree. The whole tree was in the seed. You saw the picture of the whole finished product, which also, brings to mind about us. Sometimes we'll say we're a work in progress, but truly we came here fully equipped. You see what I'm saying?
I
With
believe
everything already in us, and they've already been able to prove that we are, everything has an energy, be it what we might call negative or positive. So it's the ability, the brilliant mind that was able to take the signatures of the plants and put them in energy. So instead of you spending $80 for one supplement, the 52 complement of different supplements, the one for blood pressure, the one for kidney disorder, the one for weight loss, the one that help you, your libido, the one that helps you with the 52 different supplements, you can get them in a subscription of $65 a month, and you take them energetically when you want, over 100 times, or if you get a bigger package, but 100 times a month, and you're giving yourself these things energetically and getting results. Being able to put a frequency on your sciatic nerve pain and getting immediately in a 1 minute transmission and things like that. Those are the things that they don't want us to know, because the other system has a whole network. They like you said, the high blood pressure medicine kind of gateway to kidney failure, dialysis.
Right.
But
like I remember.
Many people who have started out with that eventually end up with that issue. And I know there's a lot of things we can't say, but hopefully you are using your disclaimer up here that anything, this is for educational, entertainment purposes only, what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we have to watch the fact that if you pay attention now to even the commercials that have been broadcast over the last few years where they've been honest and said, after they tell you this thing is so wonderful for whatever your problem is, then they add a disclaimer and gives you a list of side effects, possible side effects, and many of them might even include death. And many of those side effects are worse than the thing that you were going to take this particular thing for. So you want the natural approach. You want, because if it's natural, it's already agreeable to your Constitution. And we are, and I say that because we think the Constitution is just the thing on paper, but every one of us has a Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And our natural Constitution has been constructed in such a way that the plants and various, plants, mostly plants, have been formulated to complement our well-being. You even have things that we should be taking sometimes, and they're in the shape of they're in the shape. You have vegetables and plants in the shape of body parts that they help, and that's amazing.
Okay.
So I'm glad that he was able to come on and give what he wanted to do that first. I knew he has a client that has flown him in to this area to do her specific treatments that she needed. I mean, that's how how intense and the work is, and he's helping this client avoid having to have her foot amputated.
When is he coming back to House of Reawakening Mind?
Well, he was just here on Saturday. I want to say he was here Saturday. I think it was
the day it was storming. The day it was storming.
He was here on Saturday, and we did have a couple that came, and they were amazed at what they ended up, hearing and what they experienced. And at the end of their time here, they actually joined Alice. Became Alice is just a membership that a wellness membership that I can treat myself for whatever I got, whatever ails me. And I know I saw in the chat one of my sister friends, Sister Sekmet. I know I saw her on there and in here at one point, and she is a recently became a member of Alice, and they were having a meeting just before we got on, and to hear her testimony about how what she personally experienced, and we're talking energetic supplementation, and what her son, who's been going through a lot of different ailments, has experienced in just a couple of days of this energy coming. And all we are is energy. So y'all talk about unscrambled minds. We're unscrambled energy. So when you put that thing together like it's supposed to be, the energy goes where it needs to and fills in the gaps, the holes, the missing places, and brings us together. Without being disruptive, because why do you want to go through processes that disrupt your well-being, that make your stomach you got your gut messed up, or you got headaches and all that? No, you want something that's going to come in and complement you and make you feel better. You want to be able to say, oh yeah, I can move my knee, I don't feel pain, oh I can do this now, I did lose 40 pounds and I didn't do anything different except take the master herbal trim, different things. You want to be able to feel those things without poisoning yourself in the process.
Okay. Sounds
but anyway
good. Okay.
That's that part. So
right. That's a very important part, and I'm a witness, so I know that it's true. Energy is everything. Anytime you actually use me as an example.
You saw the ring that you had demonstrated.
Yes, that was crazy.
Well, I have two on. I have one on each hand. But it's called the QI ring, and Dr. Lee puts the key in the ring that causes the body to start. I mean, you felt it, you experienced
I know, I did. That's what I'm saying. You used me as an example on something, and it literally was happening. There's been a couple things that you've introduced me to that I know that energy, you know what I mean, is making it happen. You know what I mean? So I have to say that I believe you.
Well, seeing and feeling is believing, and that's the way I see it.
Experience is everything. Yeah.
For the past 6 years, I don't know. The title of this is from religious. What's the title?
It's from slave religions to a conscious mind, meaning
So
you've opened your mind up. Now you're taking responsibility for everything that's going around, and you're not, blame it on other things. You've what's that thing when you was a child you thought as a child, but when you grew up
that's right.
you put
Okay,
childish
child.
things away.
All those things, but when I
So,
became mature, I put away childish things, and a lot of things for me did not make sense. But a lot of times we have that go along to get along mentality because it is tradition to, for those who went to church or go to church, the family already has traditions. The denomination that you are a part of, has its own traditions and tenets of faith. And if you want to be a part of the club, you got to follow, along with it. But there are many people, I think, like myself, who probably, sat there and even went so far as even to get a doctorate in it and still had questions and still had, feelings of there's something missing, one and one is not adding up to there was just a lot of things. And there's a tugging, I think at any time, many of us will feel from time to time, something calling you to come up higher. We talk about ascension, and there's something to say, there's something higher, there's something deeper, and you got to be open to it, or at least willing to delve into it when the door opens. Because sometimes for us, we're not looking for it, but then it just falls in front of you with an open door saying, come in, I got something I want to tell you or show you. And then all of a sudden, it's like the Wizard of Oz, though, the curtain is pulled back. The Bible talks about the veil and the temple being rent, but the temple is the body, for our body is the temple of the Most High. So there is a veil that we are normally indoctrinated with. I'm not going to say we're necessarily born with it, but if you come into families teach us various things, and we take on those things, or, the community that we're in, we take on those belief systems and so forth. But there is a veil that builds up between what you're being told and what's the truth. Right. The truth that you might naturally discover or look for is now veiled by tradition, veiled, by religious tenets and so forth. And I think that's what happened to me, because I see that a lot at the time, a lot of people went to churches, if you will, out of pain, out of trauma. A lot of folks went, something happened, and somebody said, one of my best friends, rest her soul, we had a singing group growing up, high school singing group, and her sister took sick, and something really, devastating happened during childbirth, and she ended up in a comatose state that she didn't come out of, and it was touch and go for many months and months. And then her sister, my friend, joined the church because they're looking for answers. They want God. Right. We're told that God is the only one, and so she ends up in church. I lose my best friend and singing partner because now she's over at the church. So what do? I follow. Not immediately, but the trauma, her trauma, led me to follow her because I still wanted to be her friend. You see what I'm saying? And so you getting there, and there's a lot of things that are good. There's a lot of good things. There's at least on the surface. And right. So you get it caught up. Yeah.
Organization, family.
Right. So you get in, and once you're in, you're in, and you either dive, head first in or headlong into it and into the belief systems and so forth. But, eventually, and I don't know if everybody experiences this, but I begin to see the seedier side of things. You see what I mean? And experience the, okay, you're saying that from there, but when you come out of there, down here, now you just a regular, you so I started to see those things, but it still didn't stop me from seeing the good part of it, and that the good that I might be able to do with my understanding, which at the time was understanding, but with my understanding to maybe help others, avoid the heartbreak or the various things that people I was now seeing. I experienced everything that everybody came, in the church experience, but a lot of times it's community. So when somebody's struggling with thus and so the community cheers, we cheer, not necessarily cheer, but pray that hopefully that saint, to a place of wholeness or healing, if you will. And so now you want to do more to help more people, but you want to not be who those folks are that showed you the other side of them. Because you're saying it truly, everybody can't be like this, and everybody's not like that. But the more, time went on, I could see a lot more of that. You know what I mean? And so when I finally became a licensed minister, and then ordained minister, and then eventually went to school and started my pastorate, I vowed I wasn't going to do this. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? I had a whole list of, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that here, because I had seen too many things, and I knew too many things that didn't sit right, but I wanted to be the righteous pastor. You know what I mean? So when my fast forward awakening occurred, it happened at a time when I was not looking to get out of what I was doing. Isn't that interesting? I wasn't seeking it out. I was, Apostle Gilliam, and I was, praise to the King Ministries was, we have the most, we have we call it praise break video from maybe 15, 16 years or so ago, maybe more, out there on YouTube with like hundreds of thousands of views of the way these young people, the praise that used to go on at PTKM. And a lot of ministers now, there's apostles and ministers and elders all over this city. His city came up through the ministry that I founded, right? And anointed women and men, if you will. So when I had this spontaneous combustion, so to speak, and all of a sudden I'm out of body, and I'm reading a scripture that's basically talking about unscrupulous men have crept in, and that they disregard the widows and the fatherless, and they heap into themselves riches, and so they have men in cages like birds growing fat off. This is actually a scripture I had never read. I'm pulled into the scripture, and it says they have men in cages like birds growing fat of them. It said, but the people like it that way. But said, but what will they do in the end? And his voice said to me, you, or maybe it was looking down, you must stop lying and tell the truth. And I was like, lying. And so the lies, two ways, omission, commission. So omitting the truth, I was really doing the lies of omission. I was doing what I saw, repeating what I heard. And these things had conflict in my soul, but yet that's what the faith said to say and to do. And I was conflicted, and I was convicted by spirit to say, you have to stop lying and tell the truth. And so the truth to open up. And that's what happened. So a lot of these families, men, women that followed me, in an instant, they did, like I said, the scripture talks about Jesus, Yeshua, going into the town, I guess, with 1 week, and they have the Palm Sunday. Remember, they're waving the palms, Hosanna, Hosanna. It's a worship. And the next week, they're like throwing rocks at him, saying crucify. I went from Hosanna to crucifixion in maybe a period of a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden I was crazy. But what was happening was something that I was not able to control, because it came upon me, and said, look at what you're doing. Look at what you said. Do you really believe this? And does this really make sense? And I'm not talking about everything, but we do a lot of things out of tradition. And so a lot of times, even getting down to the scripture, that talks about in Malachi, and preachers love to preach about the Son of Righteousness will arise with healing in his wings. And, if you're listening to this, since we've been talking about at this point, Jesus as the Son, Yeshua as the Son of God, you think, and people see Jesus flying in with wings, healing folks. When you look at the scripture, it doesn't even say S-O-N, like a son. It says S-U-N. And I literally experienced since then, I have a picture of myself sitting at the beach in Assateague, watching the sun come up over the horizon of the I guess that, I don't know, what the lake or whatever that is, the sea right there where I was sitting on the beach. And when the sun came up, because the picture was taken of me from behind me, you see the sun come up brilliant, and around the edges of it, you see the wings. That's the healing sun that the Bible was talking about, because that was natural. The sun, and you talked about the melanin and the vitamin D, rather, the healing power of the sun, which is what we've noticed over the last few years. We don't know if this is the real sun or this is a fake something that's good, but what we know is that we're not getting the same effect,
right,
when we were growing up. That we were now, melanated folks got to wear sunscreen. We didn't have to wear sunscreen.
right.
What we sun kissed. They get sunburned, we get sun kissed. You see what I'm saying? So things have shifted, but that was just a particular scripture. Or anytime one of my particular pastors was low on funds because he was jacking it, he would be using the church funds for his funding his life. He would bring ye up the tithes into the storehouse. That scripture that we're like, here we go again. I'm like, what? And then we learned later on that the tithe, if they said meet in mine house and in the storehouse, what they were doing back then, they weren't giving like some churches were doing. Oh, we have a first fruits. That means the first Sunday of the first month of the year, and which is not really the first month of the real year, that you give either your whole week's pay or your whole month's pay to the church. What they were bringing were first fruits, be it the fruits that they grew, or the fatted calf, the first calf that was born. And they were bringing these things into the grains and stuff into the storehouse, because the priesthood was doing some other work for the people. They was doing the spiritual work, so to speak. I won't get into that, but they was doing what they were doing. So in lieu of them having to go out and till the ground and farm and all that, the people said, okay, you all are praying for us, so to speak. Let's just say that. You all are laying, and laboring for our safety. So we're going to make sure you eat. They done switched that all around over the years to, give me 10% of your paycheck. And then at the first of the year, be on your check. And to me, it's like,
right.
So
everything has changed.
Yeah. I begin to see, and see things differently that I had. And then one thing leads to another, and you can't go back.
Right. Right. Nobody has a question. Niche, you got a question?
Yeah.
Nisha?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted. So I wanted to know, I don't know if you can answer this, Dr. G, but I just wanted to know about the herbs and that he is offering. So is it still like gatekeeping? Because are the ingredients, are the herbs actually listed on the website?
Absolutely. So I'm going to
question.
I'm going to give you for example. So
okay.
I can go because I'm a member.
And Dr. G, real quickly, can you give me the name of his website again so I'll pin it and post it, please?
Okay, you didn't see it in the private chat?
I dropped down and logged back in on our page, so I don't see it. The private chat is not showing it to me. But just say it. I can write it out now.
The Simple Truth, LLC.com. And if anybody wants to order anything from his website, like the key rings we talked about or any of the supplements, you use my code DRG for a 10% discount.
Okay.
But Alice, But the Alice system that who was asking me about that? I'm not sure who was talking, but the Alice system that you were asking me about, whether or not it's disclosure, that's what you were asking about. I'm going to tell you and give an example. So I'm going to access my account and tell you, for instance, what's in something. Okay, so I'm going into my system, which everybody who's a member gets. And for instance, we talked about blood pressure. So I'm going to go to blood pressure balance. And it says right here on the site, it says blood pressure balance helps manage hypertension. It gives the body specific energy signature that helps to thin the blood and soften the arteries and blood vessels. It talks about the energy signature helps to repair damage caused by hypertension, which can improve circulation, normalize cholesterol, and manage blood pressure over time. The digital ingredients are beetroot, hawthorn berry, ginkgo biloba, suma, that's U-M-A, purple corn, bajaka, B-A-J-A-K-A root, and ginger root. Every supplement that's on here, which is 52 different supplements, the ingredients are shown except in the case when it's we have like a light therapy, a red light therapy. So it's not a supplement when you're taking the red light therapy. So it won't say, but for instance, blood sugar aminos, it tells you what the ingredients are: isoleucine, glutamine, and vitamin C. So everything has what is in it. You're not just taking stuff in the blind, even though you're taking an energetic because of the transfer, but everything you know what you're taking.
Okay, thank you.
That sounds good.
And
y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Peace to all the new ones coming in. Peace, K-Dub. Occasion Spicy, Grateful, Barn Dog, Carl, and thank you, Sekmek, for chilling out with us. It seemed like you've been down since the beginning. So I have a question bringing us back to like the title, and you were getting really into the scriptures. Do you feel like the scriptures and the Hebrews, like the storyline, is still meant for the people and to be interpreted correctly? Or do you feel like we don't need the Bible, we can move past it?
I'm not going to say we don't need it. I think the book is a book of instruction and a book that can help us, but we have to see it in its proper context. If you have, if you come, if your context is wrong, this is something I learned, when I was in Bible college. If your context is wrong, then your conclusion will be wrong. So what we conclude a lot of times is based on an incorrect context that things are given to us. Like I said, the preacher's preaching about the Son of Righteousness and healing in his wings when when it clearly says the S-O-N and not the S-U-N and not the S-O-N. Folks, though, the vision, the vision, not division, the vision that they have in their minds is like, Jesus with wings, so to speak. But that's not what it says, because there's a natural, it gives you all kinds of clues. It talks about the leaves of the trees for the healing of the nation. So we know it tells us not to eat, the swine, and it tells us so many things. It tells us things about the tree, the Christmas tree. And folks still, I've seen some people put Christmas trees in their pulpit, for Christmas. And it talked about the tree, curse to them that cutteth down the tree, and all that. It needs to be carried. They were worshiping trees. It says it right there in the book. But then Christmas and a tree is associated with Yahshua ben Joseph. And that's, there's some truth in it, but it's mixed with so much falsity and myth and just, if you will, the wrong context. The fact that have approached the age of Aquarius, and folks were like, that stuff. But there it is in the book when Yeshua says to his disciples that he was going to believe in them, but he tells them that go into the next town. And the next town in this instance, because you got to be able to interpret when you get into the next era, you'll find a man bearing a water pot. Mm-hmm. Follow him. Well, if you know Hebrew manners and customs, women were the water pot bearers. So that's an anomaly right there. That doesn't make sense, because women, just like the woman at the well, the women went to the well to draw the water. Men didn't do that. But now here's this anomaly. Here's this clue that it's going to be a man bearing a water pot that you should follow. What did that point to? It pointed to the so-called age of Aquarius. And then if you go deeper into your studies, you'll find out that most eras that are written about in the Bible coincide with astrological periods when the sun was in a certain sign. When they the calf, the golden calf. Well, what's that? Taurus. So that was in the sign. That was during the sign of Taurus, and the various things when the ram was caught in the thicket.
Aries.
You can go. So when you got to Yeshua, he was talking about,
Pisces.
I'm gonna make you fishers of men. And they got a lot of boat stories. They in the boat, the sea, he walking on the water. That was the Piscean age. So we got all of this symbology that's there, but the preachers don't preach it because they've been taught how to, tune up and give you a good story that they have concocted from the out of context, if you will, taken out of context, the scripture. I've heard so many people preach about a virtuous woman, and they only do it like around Mother's Day. Who can find a virtuous woman? Proverbs 31. But when you really break down that text of Proverbs 31, we talking about a businesswoman. We talking about a woman that was holding stuff down, because if you look at all the stuff that she did, she ran the business. She made the purple and the whatever. She went and negotiated, so she considered a field and bought it. The women owned the land. This is how things were, and it was there in the scripture. And then it says her husband would be at the gate with the other husbands, talking about what a good woman he had. Pretty much that's what it said. When we talking, I know a lot of get behind me, and all that, but no, the women were doing. That woman, that Proverbs 31 woman, was an example of a woman handling business for her family.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying men had to do, but I'm saying, so how that is taken, out of context and given a whole different, watered down thing that doesn't encourage. I'm not saying that a woman should usurp a man, but the first one that a baby sees, be it a male or a female, is a woman. Normally, it's the mother for the first 4 or 5 years, or whatever or 3 years, whatever the beginnings of that child's life, the mother is influencing. Yes, the child, especially for the boy, needs to get to have the influence and the nurturing of a father, but it needs a woman too. Not just to carry the seed, not just to bear the seed and carry it, deliver it, but also there's some things that need to be instilled from the maternal side, because when you remember back in early part of the book of Genesis, they were one. At one time, they were one, meaning they were like, I forgot the word. I can't. Mm-hmm. One body. It had both. So when the separation came, because you see 2 different instances in Genesis of something happening where they put to sleep, they claimed the rib, but it wasn't a rib. But when the separation came, separating them into a male and a female, like a puzzle piece, it's a little bit of both in both. It's a lot of what the female and the female and the male and the male, but then there's a little bit of male and the female, and a little bit of female and the male. Yeah. And so that again connects us, but it's never taught that way, because the book is given in such and just us, because there's other places where they have more of a clear teaching that is more, I'm going to say it, metaphysical in its way of interpreting, if you will, and teaching. But when folks, it's not a spooky book. It's not a scary book. To me, now I might be a little crazy, but I just see extraterrestrial contact happening all through the book. I don't know whether they look like us or look like something else, but I believe, when he went up on the mountain, came back with all the white hair, he was around some radiation. Some maybe when when the ship came down, and that's why the mountain was quaking. Now they talk about flat top mountains, mountaintops that have been flattened because they look like landing things. That stuff is old stuff. It was in the book. It's like he went up and he saw God. Maybe he saw what we now know as so-called aliens, and because they had superior technology, they became God. They taught. You see what I'm saying? That's the way I see things a lot. Do I believe I made myself? Absolutely not. Do I believe that whatever energy made me is in me too? Yes, I do. Because even their book says it. Even Yeshua says the greater one lives on the inside of you. And greater works talks about, I'm doing this, but you can do more. So the book, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, the greatest, if you will, teacher, preacher, whatever, savior of all times, tells the people that you can do more than me. What are we doing? Why haven't we done it? Because we've been taught that we can't. We've been, if you will, instead of taking the book, opening it up to us and giving us the mysteries, we've been, hit upside the head and say, look, this is the story what we want you to tell. This is the interpretation. While in secret, they teach themselves Kabbalah and different things and use the mysteries to have mastery over all of us.
Wow. Wow. Take a breath, Dr. G. Take a breath. Take a breath. Yes. Yes.
I get wound up,
No, I love it.
Very
No.
passionate. Very
I
passionate.
love it. I love it. And the cousins in the chat are definitely enjoying this conversation. I mean, just excellent. Excellent how you are breaking it down. And shout out to Dr. L. I wanted to say, I mean, so much I've been listening to, right? Like for the past going on hour. And I wanted to start out by saying shout out to Dr. L, for his honesty when Sister Freedom had asked him about, like whether or not he could heal somebody, like with bad arthritis where their body is bent or, it's in a really severe state. And he was like, no. And I was like, I appreciate that. That's real. Right? Because ain't nobody is a magician, right? Because it comes from you, it comes from self, it comes from the individual. You're going to have to you got to do that work. Right. So that was just like a powerful thing for me. So I appreciate that. And shout out to him again for stopping by. Like trying to tie the title of what the title says, with like quote unquote slave religion to consciousness. And then also the health talk. I noticed that, a lot of organized religions, many of them, they tend to be against energy work, right? That tends to scare them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will go even so far as to say that many would say that they believe that that's like demonic to some extent, especially when you start using crystals and you start using words like that. It's like right? Like what you doing? What you
Oh, I know
doing?
you're right. Yeah,
Which is very interesting. So I just wanted I have my little theory, but I wanted you to break that down a little bit and what you think the psychology is behind that. If you could just, walk that down for us.
I sit here with a crystal in my hand.
I got many too.
Yeah, this room is full of crystals. I believe it's a part of, and I could be wrong, but I remember years ago in church, you remember the art, like Freedom, you have the African artifacts. I remember purchasing some African artifacts back in like 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And one of my sweet church member friends, told me when she came to my house and she saw this one picture on my wall, mask or everything, that it was demonic, for instance.
Was it the same person that came to mind?
No. It wasn't. But I'm saying, I believe it's just a part of the teachings of the church, because they basically have said anything that's not, if it's not in the Bible, then it almost isn't relevant. But the Bible, I don't know if you have ever thought, and this is what I used to think. I used to say, where am I in the Bible? Where am I in the narrative? I mean, did I just pop on the scene from, you know what I mean? You never did, never thinking that or knowing that the story, a lot of the stories, a lot of the occurrences were melanated people, if you will, having these experiences that now, this king, he was prince and then he became king. James decided, I'm gonna put my name on the book and you do my version. And it tickles me if people like King James only. It's like, fool, it says version.
Right.
When you want to know what the original, when you want to have, when you want to know that with the Septuagint or the Ethiopian Bible or something older than the versions that people, and you look in Bible Gateway, you might see 50, 60, 100 different Bible versions. You know what I mean? Which one? And everybody interprets the same. So a lot of the things that I believe that people knew people could rely on and get help without having to be dependent or pay for, they cast it aside as witchcraft. Now, the witches of back in the day, a lot of the women were deemed witches because they were herbalists. They knew how to go out in the field and pick the right herb, and they could put together tinctures and I just did a tincture. It took me 6 weeks to do a tincture. I got the herbs out of my backyard. I found out about cleavers about a year ago. And I was thinking these things were these little sticky things that stick on you when you go past it. This thing is this particular herb. And then when I found out about it, then it grew this year in my backyard. And I was so grateful because I was able to make tincture out of it. And it actually helps to move lymphatic fluid. People got the big swollen legs and arms. I made my own tincture called, Light Body. Named it Light Body. Me and ChatGPT called it Light Body. We named it. But I did a 6-week, maceration process, and it was straight cleavers. I watched today as I rode by this area near the Brandywine Freedom, and they were clearing off they had cut away all of the cleavers. They don't know how much they were back.
I'm sorry, I'm just wanting clarity. Are you talking about sticky bugs? Or is that different?
They're called cleavers. They look like green stringy plants, and they have little bead, look like a little bean on them, and they'll stick to you if you walk through it.
Yeah, that's what
okay. Yeah, if you have a plant identifier app to make sure, just identify it. But cleavers actually clear lymphatic fluids. Move lymphatic fluids through your. So I made my own stuff.
Dr. G, that's crazy you said that, because if he was here, that was going to be my question about the lymphatic drainage system, and Freedom knows why. But that was going to be one of the questions I asked him. So it's interesting that you just spoke on that.
Right. Yeah, but there's, for instance, I'm just like, if I can give you all a couple of, we have bladder balance, blood detox, blood pressure balance, blood sugar aminos, calcium 365, cardiac remediation therapy. It's a 12-minute therapy. And all this is in your monthly membership. You get 100 sessions. So you can, what I love about this is I could take a bottle of distilled or spring water, I put it in like a tinted, like blue bottles, fill them up. I can put my system, turn on my system, and I'll use my speakers and run the frequency through the bottles twice. And I make a 30-day supply of it as if I bought the liquid tinctures of it. And I just put 3 drops under my tongue.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And circulation aid, cold and flu therapy, colon cleanse, digestive aid, E-Man athletic support, E-Woman athletic enhancement, emergency pain be gone. Sister came to House of Reawakening Minds Saturday, she and her husband, and she had she said she could barely stand up, but her back was hurting so bad. We turned the frequency on her, put her and both her husband put frequency on her, and she got so much relief. She joined. They got a member to Alice right there. They both got a ring.
Get over there because my back be killing me.
They both got a ring, and they one of them, you only needed one in the family to join, Alice, because they can both use the frequencies. But you got 100 sessions. The only bad part about the 100 sessions is if you don't lose them and use them in the 30 days, they don't roll over. They charge you 65 on the next month, and then you get 100 more sessions. So use them for other people. Make bottles of liquid tincture, if you will, and just take your supplements. You got 30 days supply that you can make with like just running the energy frequency 2 to 3 times on the bottle, and you got the same thing as the actual physical pills that you may have to pay $80 for. Yeah, it's amazing. I hurt my leg about a month ago, almost a month ago at Planet Fitness, right? And I could hardly walk, and I thought people haven't seen me. I was online every day, right? I have not been online since that, but I hurt my leg so bad. I was like, I'm not gonna walk probably for the next month or so. Dr. Lee was in town in PA, and my sister, Mother Kai, said, she's his godmother, said, you need to come and see my godson. He worked on me all that evening. And while I went to the place the hotel where he was staying. And I want to say it was a day, not even 24 hours later, we were having a sale. And I don't know, Robin Freedom, if you were there, but I forgot. I was still hurting in the morning after he had done all that treatment, but I forgot that I was hurting. And he said, he came by. He said, Dr. G, how are you doing? How's your leg doing? And all of a sudden, I started twisting my leg. And I said, oh my God. I couldn't even walk the day before. I couldn't barely put my foot down on the gas pedal. The pain was so bad I don't know what I did. I didn't know how. It was a standing elliptical. And when I went to stop, I thought I could stop on my own. It kept going and it twisted my leg out of joint. And it was horrible. He did light therapy and the thing called Pain Be Gone. And less than 24 hours later, I haven't had a pain since then.
I got to get them rings.
Yeah, experience. So now I'm an Alice member. So I just shoot, frequency on myself when I need it, and I'm good to go.
Just real quickly, we dropped the link. So if you guys have a question and y'all want to join us, feel free to hit the link, or y'all can hit our super chat. If you don't want to hit the link, you can hit our super chat. Thank y'all. Go ahead,
I do have a link also for the I can put it in the private. I did put it in the private chat, but I can put it back here again if somebody's really interested in becoming a member. I have my own link. I can't do it doesn't let me put anything in the actual chat, so I'm putting it in your chat, and that link is where they can actually come on and come on board and just get their own membership. Use it for themselves. You can even use it long distance with people. You gotta have 2 phones. You have to have 2 phones, and they already on the phone. But you can send those frequencies to your cousin in Alaska.
That's crazy.
And they get the benefit of it. So it's an amazing technology, and it's the actual plant signatures in each formulation. So you get to see exactly, like for instance, you might say, oh, I'm allergic. I know somebody that can't take vitamin K because they have blood clots. So it was good to be able to look and see the ingredients in that supplement that, okay, it's vitamin K in it. So that right now is not good for them. So they do give you what's there because it really does transfer over to you. So you want to make sure, I can take that.
Let me ask you something, Dr. G. The rings, are they copper rings, or are they just?
He has the rings are the rings I have on are stainless steel because they were the most reasonable ones. But he does have sterling, and he has sterling. I guess he can do copper, but he can also do a ring. Somebody has a ring or jewelry of their own that they want the key put in. You can literally have your
wow, I got one too.
You put into your, but you're paying anywhere from 100 to 200 for the rings, and I guess you have to pay the same thing for even if you use it for your own, you want it in your own jewelry because it's not the ring, it's what he puts in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you something. You speak about energy, and I have to ask this question because I don't know, it just popped in my mind about, just dealing with this energy. And like I said, I was one to have experienced it. So I have to sort of do you do you feel like we could have other dimensions right here and not even realize that we do have other dimensions right here though? Like because of how the energy works. It's
Well,
like
that's
all of this that we don't know about, you know what I mean? Like is there something, it's almost where somebody be like, this is remarkable. You know what I mean? Like it's open to me, it opens up another spot in my mind to say there's something else here that we don't know about. Cause there's just no way I'm going into the boards, everything. You know what I mean? The experience of it and the energy that is making it happen. And what I've experienced with you, it's like, do you feel like we could have other dimensions right here?
absolutely. I mean, you ever? I've experienced times when I was waking. You ever kind of you're awake and sleep, and you're coming out of a sleeping waking. Um, you're going from say sleeping to waking, and there's a place in between. And dimensionally, I've seen things in those in between things every now and then. I mean, I've seen people come through doors. I mean, I've literally, but I was in a state of consciousness and my, I'm not sure, awaking and being asleep at the same time. And I'm literally seeing spirits, if you will. And these spirits, I don't believe this, in one instance, I don't believe neither one. They weren't dead folks. They were people that I knew, but I watched them walk through doors.
Right.
I literally, but I was in between awake and sleep state when I saw them. Now, why was it an energy signature of the fact that they had come through that portal before? Was I seeing a repeat of something, or whatever it is? I don't know what it is, but I literally experienced that. But when it comes to dimensions, I believe we are in a multi-dimensional reality, and we can only, if we could only see. There was a preacher that came years ago preaching a sermon at the church I used to go to when I first really got into serving God. And he preached a sermon, and he said, if you could pull back the curtain, you would see that heaven is fighting for you. And really what he was talking about was dimensions. They're in the realms, in the various realms. I believe, we are surrounded by what we can't see. And in some cases, in many cases, they can see us because we've been shut down. We've been intentionally almost like, powered down from our original selves that were able, if you will, to operate in various realms. Now folks have to do it with stuff like ayahuasca, or I remember eating too much of a of a brownie my first time having one years ago, and I didn't know you don't eat a whole brownie, especially when it has something in it. And I literally went on a trip that I was just saying to Drake. I said, I got in my car, I made it to the house. Then I was afraid to get out of the car, which was in front of the house. And it took about 15 minutes. And then when I finally got in the house, it was like the steps. I got to the couch, and I was afraid to go up the stairs. I got to the stairs, and I got in the room. And when I shut the door, the trip was on, and I was in all these different dimensions. And at the time, a friend of mine had gone up in Washington State and had the ayahuasca, the thing where you go and you work with the shaman, and you're supposed to cleanse and go through all this stuff. And she is telling me, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. But you take this stuff. Well, this little brownie trip said, oh, you want to have an ayahuasca trip? I was inside my own body having like multiple experiences and screaming, let me out. So it was so weird. And I never had brownie again. Of course.
Well, when I say other dimensions, I'm saying I'm speaking on
existence,
on the energies and well dreaming even because I am one that can in a sense control my dreams. Like
right?
I'm sleep, but I know I'm sleep and I talk in my sleep. I tell myself, you're asleep, this is a scary dream, you know what I mean? Or when I actually am in my dream saying, oh, this is just I'm realizing that I am asleep and that I'm in a dream. And I talk in my dream and I pretty much wake myself up if it gets too bad. So that is one dimension, and some people are clairvoyant. I am one that is. I have had to somewhat control it, but some people are clairvoyant, like they know things before it's going to happen. But I think a lot of people are. But what happens is we block it because we're afraid of what we may go into. You know what I'm saying? Because even dealing with the pendulum board and things of that nature,
and you have to be careful with it.
Huh?
And I've learned that you have to be careful with it too, because
you have to be very careful. If you're not ready for it, don't. If you're not ready to step into that other dimension, then because fear is the mind killer. So when you are afraid, I pretty much ask for it. Ask for feelings. And sometimes I'm wondering if I'm overthinking or is this really happening? And a lot of times, you know that old saying, if you dream death, somebody's pregnant. Or sometimes that kind of stuff. People see, a lot of people don't realize that these things wouldn't be written down in different old books and different things if people didn't already experience it. But I'm gonna say this one thing that happened. And being, though I am Muslim, I come from a Muslim background. Everybody knows that already. And it was said, if you have a bad dream, do not tell it. Like, don't tell the dream. So, I told the dream. And it happened. So what I'm saying is sometimes you could take something for granted. You know what I'm saying? And it happened. And I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot believe this is actually happening. But I had told somebody the dream. You understand what I'm saying? And then it ended up happening. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just saying, when I say the other dimensions, you really have to be ready, or you have to be one that is not afraid. I mean, I accepted, I took it with a chin on the chin because I literally seen this Nick, I'm gonna say it like that, doing what did, and then it just happened. I was like, what the hell you see? You know what I mean? Like, this is happening. Then I had to tell the person, did it? I've never ever, and I tell people, somebody said, well, I had a scary dream. And I tell them, don't tell your dream. Whatever it was, leave it between that and that dimension. Don't bring it over here, because it can happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, give life to it. I mean, I think
when
that
you doing the pendulum board or whatever, and you seeing the energy happening, and I'm telling you, most of the time it's true, because it's your energy that's making it happen, that's doing it. It's amazing. And that is another thing that proves to me that something is here that we just don't know about, but we're not allowing it to open up.
I mean, we don't see everything true, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because I mean, if everybody do this, take your hand out, take your hands out. Okay, like make a ball. Now start to bring it in until you feel a ball. You start to feel that, and you didn't feel that.
I feel it.
Y'all feel it?
I feel it already.
Feel it coming around your fingertips now?
Yep. I feel like I'm pushing something in.
Feel it. It wasn't there. You didn't realize it was there until you started to bring it into your hand. Feel it?
Right. Yeah.
And that's how it's there, but we don't necessarily, it's energy blended with energy until you begin to pressurize it into something else. Like, so that's why I said bring it into a ball. Now I can feel the ball in my hand, but it was there
Right.
all along.
But what about meditation? That's the other part of it. Meditation and energy. Do you think they go hand on hand? Because I think meditation, and I haven't really gotten into meditation like I probably should, or maybe I'm meditating and don't realize that I'm meditating. You know what I mean? But do you think that meditation is something else that is good for the spirit, the soul, for that, for energy? Do you feel like meditation is good?
I'm not going to say necessarily for energy, but it's good from a standpoint sometimes for getting answers. When I would do meditation circles at the House of Reawakening Minds, and we're talking 11, 12 years ago, we were doing circles, and it'd be 20 so people might come out once a week, and we would do that. We were able, between Zing, my master teacher, and myself, we were able to bring the participants into a place, into like a realm, if you will, of consciousness doing the meditative circle, because we would do Reiki. They would be in a circle. We would be guiding them to, to get them maybe to the Akashic realm. And then the abilities that we both had, we were able to see into not necessarily who they were now, but I would often be able to see who they were before. So when the circle, we would end the meditative circle, and then we would have, like sort of the breakout, so to speak. We would go around, she and I, and we would tell each individual what we got from them. And there was a lady that I saw her, I think she was either choked or stabbed in the throat. It was like an old ancient time. And this particular young lady, she was a traveling something phlebotomist or some kind of medical something, but she's one of those people, sometimes they live in certain areas for 2 or 3 months and then they go to another doing this. She was one of those, but she had a problem apparently with speaking public. And the reason why I was able to see it is that I think she was strangled or something, and in a past life, and in this life she held back. You know what I mean? The energy in her throat chakra was so constricted from something that had happened to her in a previous lifetime that she had brought it over. And then a lot of times, even in the meditative state, who they saw, we were able to see what they were seeing and tell them when we did the breakout. And they were like, "Oh my God, and you can do that during during that meditative take people into those other realms of timelines, because remember, they try to tell us that life is sort of happening, but they're now telling us that it's all happening at the same time. The past, the present, and the future are happening at the same time. So it depends on which way how you're accessing it. Your reality. You have the ability to, you can live in the now, or you can go back there, or you can make yourself futuristic in your own energetic space and mind. You really can do that. Sometimes people, they act like they're not really there. They're not. Their bodies may be physically in this dimension, but their mind and their consciousness is somewhere else, and they don't connect very well with people in this one because they're disconnected. They're like, they say, a PC. They call those they have NPCs. They're NPCs. They're non-participating character. Some of those folks, they say, are just beings that have no souls. I think they go back to the days of the Cabbage Patch Dolls and the World's Fairs, when they had the incubator babies, that they were lying to people and saying that all these 7,000 plus women had premature babies. Who in the hell, I gotta say that, who in the hell would give their premature baby to a carnival or a World's Fair display if the baby was premature? These were babies that they made, these soulless beings that they were making, that they have now injected into the world to create, their minions. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then they make dolls and talk. Remember back when I was growing up, remember, I don't know if I was older, what, the Cabbage Patch dolls. That was back in, that came out of the era when they were making these babies. And they were giving you could adopt a baby and you would get a certificate of adoption.
Yes.
Created. What do you mean
Well, why they
created?
stopped making the Cabbage Patch dolls? They stopped making them.
They were symbolic of something that they had actually done. They had actually made thousands of babies, and they put these babies out into a families and adopted them out, but they were not really made from a man and a woman coming together in a normal way. They were lab grown, so to speak.
Wow.
You know, and it's just starting to resurface because they used to send out postcards with the babies in little babies facing the cabbage and all that, because that's what they were doing. They got to tell what they do. See, they have to tell it so that karma. Oh yeah, we told y'all. Remember the Cabbage Patch? We told y'all. And we thought they were no, we were telling you the truth.
They always tell what they do.
But that kind of knowledge, this kind of awareness, let me say that, would not have even gotten into my consciousness in the church. I gotta say it.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to know both, but I wasn't supposed to be stuck in either one. Because consciousness and all that stuff is always growing. And if you think when you think you know it all, you realize you don't know jack.
True.
So I'd rather be a free-minded, open, teachable spirit soul that is able to then look at things objectively, constructively, analytically, and come to a reasonable, logical conclusion that is also subject to change based on the introduction of additional information. Because sometimes we don't have the whole thing.
That's true.
But you have to draw on your God mind, your God self, because remember, the greater one is on the inside. And if you want to know, you can know. Most people don't know because they don't. Two reasons: they don't know that they don't know, and they don't what they don't know. They don't want to know anyway because they're content with the existence. There's some of us, like you all sisters who are doing Unscrambled Minds, you're not content with the, just accepting, the status
just
quo.
anything, yeah.
Just because they said so. And I'm not, and I know I'm not. You know what I mean? Reawakening minds, unscrambled minds. Some of us came specifically for the purpose of ringing sounding the alarm, shaking folks gently. I mean, because you can't, you don't want to be hostile in your approach of trying to help, because everybody doesn't like to be awakened. Some people get mad.
I fear.
Wake me up. Now I got to think. Now I've got to make decisions based on this new knowledge, and I may have to let some things go, or do some things differently because of what I know now that I didn't know then, or what I had rejected. And you told me. Why'd you tell me? People don't want to hear this because you can't unhear truth. That's like, you can't unhear it.
Hey, Darvis. Yeah, it's true.
Hey, Darvis. Nisha?
Nisha, can you hear?
Yeah, what you? Yeah, hey, Darvis.
You have another question?
Did you have another question, honey?
I know. I really don't. Just interested hearing Dr. G again. Appreciate her. Always dropping gems. So I'm just listening. I'm just listening to the conversation.
Oh, well, thank you, sister.
Did fear ever set in with you, Dr. J? I'm going to take Nisha's question. I'm just taking Nisha's question. Did fear ever set in with you?
What about Dulcie?
No, Nisha.
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I'm in the back and I'm listening too, but JJ's messing up on some cabbage. I got a lot of stuff going.
Right, you better go on, Texas girl.
Okay.
All that thing. Gonna be good. Were you ever when you first started getting open, I'm gonna say, what did you ever fear the the God situation when you had to now accept the kingdom of God is within you, and that in my father's house there are many mansions, many choices that you can make. You know what I mean? Because the house is here, and this is the temple, as you stated, and this is the house, and all the choices come from you. The mansions that you can walk through any door. Did you ever experience fear knowing that you had to accept that there's no daggone man walking in the sky looking at us playing games with us like we're a puzzle? Did you ever because then you got to answer all the questions that's not going to be answered. You know what I mean? Now the realization is coming to you are part of all this, because you can't explain it no other way. But did fear ever set in?
I don't. I think sadness, like I talked about that, because initially it caused separation, and it didn't have so much to do with God as it had to do with people who I loved. I cherished as being my friends or my church members. They were like my children. You know what I mean? The families. I had lots of families that were parts of the ministry. So I had sadness from that, but it wasn't enough to make me like go back and say, y'all forgive me. I don't know what happened to Apostle. I must have bumped my head. I probably need to sit down for a minute and one of you all take over while I get myself together, because I know I didn't think anything was wrong with me. But I wasn't clear. And if I had fear initially, it was how I would feel, how I would deal with the separation, not only from them, but like I said, colleagues, people in the mid. When I had the awakening, I was at one of my mentors' church conference at a hotel in Philadelphia. And I was sitting at the table and with all bunch of people, and I heard the beginning of the service. And the next thing I know, they were calling me, Dr. Gilliam, to come up to help them with the altar call. And I'm trying to figure out what happened. I missed the whole service. And then that's where I found that I had written those notes across that particular scripture that I quoted. And I heard the voice. I got back to the table and the voice said, you must stop lying and tell the truth. And that was it. And I couldn't do anything. It was like, you can't go back. You can't undo this one. Like, I could have, there were times that I've preached a scripture, a sermon, and a couple occasions, not many, but one or two I can remember where like I said, you get different information and then you realize that maybe what you said, 3 Sundays ago wasn't exactly correct. So you don't leave that with the people. I would go back and correct the error I made publicly. You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't believe in realizing that I may have missed the mark in what I was saying by some disinformation or misinterpretation. And I had other people thinking that was true. So I didn't have a problem, with that, going back and saying, y'all beg your pardon, but the apostle was wrong. With this, I didn't feel like I was wrong. So I never felt like God was going to get me. In fact, after that happened, doors began to open up. Things started happening for me so positively. It was almost like I was liking it to when the Bible talks about Paul, Apostle Paul. Was he Saul? He was Saul. He was Paul by then. They had gotten on a ship. It was in a ship. The ship wrecked, and they got shipwrecked. On the sea, onto land. And he was digging through the broken pieces of the broken up ship, trying to find dry wood so he could warm the people up. And while he was looking for wood, they say a viper jumped out, came up from the thing and bit him. And they were like, see, now here he was trying to get wood, dry wood, so that those that were in the ship with him could have a fire. And when they saw him get bit, they immediately said that the bite came from the result of his actions, that he wasn't really sincere. But the Bible says that he shook it off into the fire and kept on doing good. That's who I was. They said she crazy. She did run well. What did hinder her? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, something wrong with Dr. Gilliam. Apostle Gilliam, she in league with the devil now. She talking, but as they were saying these things, doors were opening up. I had put in a book that I wanted to be the director of my department, that I had started in 2 steps from the bottom of that department when I came in there, right? Didn't know jack about what they did there. Here it was 20 years later, and I'm saying I want to be the director of the department, but the director was younger, was just about almost a little bit older than my oldest son, right? So what was the possibility of this young man leaving his job as a director? Well, lo and behold, he decided to leave and start his own business. And who was up? Me and another guy. And then they tried to sabotage me. One of my dear friend colleagues tried to accuse me of touching her in her breasts. Doing something. I said, what? And she knew, but I'm serious. The other guy was up for the job, and so was I. We both were division directors at the time. And next thing I know,
I can't even imagine.
Girl, please listen. So what had happened was we had somebody that was who liked to look at women, and she was standing at the copier machine, at the fax machine one day trying to get stuck paper out. And she asked me, could I help her get the paper? Well, when she leaned like this, I got a but deep, it was a lot more bosom showing. So when she leaned in like this guy, I won't name him, was coming up, right? And he was and so what I did was like how you grab somebody, pull you up, like pull your shirt up, close yourself. That's what I did to her. Next thing I know, being
motherly.
She went to HR and said that I touched her, because when I said I did what? Because I couldn't even remember when did I sexually touch anybody in this, especially on a woman. But come to find out, she was trying to help the other guy
get the job. Wow.
But guess who got the job?
I got the job.
I had written it down that I wanted to be the director, and not knowing how it would ever come about. And then when it was almost there, they almost curtailed it. But it was things like that flourishing. Then the people that came and started helping me build House of Reawakening Minds, and those different, those kinds of things. I was doing good in the midst of them thinking we waiting for her to fall. Somebody sent somebody to the building. They shut my building down. Tried to take the building from me. Got over that, right? So it was one thing after another that the enemy did not want me to be. So that particular it's a meme where it says something about like whatever the devil said. Oh damn, she's up, she's awake. You know what I mean? She got up this morning. It was one of those things. They did not want me to succeed, and they did not want me to reawaken they did not want my voice to go across the nations and across the waters, to the UK, to the islands, to China. We talk to people from all over the globe at the House of Awakening Minds. So they didn't want that. They don't want you to do what you're doing. So if you're experiencing things that could be serve as frustration and whatever, it's only because you're doing good. It's only because you're doing right. And we're at a time when people need hope and they need solutions. They don't need empty promises. They need solutions. And so back to the original thing with Dr. Lee, they found some solutions that can help people. Because if you're not well in your body or your mind, we even have a thing called calm, that can help quiet your mind when you feel like you're out of sorts. So we just want to bring things to people that's going to bring them peace and wholeness. And that's what my mission has been, and I think it continues to be that.
So Dr. G, when you speak of the enemy, what is this enemy you speak of? Because that's something that I don't really understand that. I don't really understand the concept of an enemy.
Okay. When enemy is just a term to call opposite energy. Let's call it opposing energies. All right. Because there are literally people within whom these energies move, and their purpose is to keep us in a state of chaos, keep us in a state of confusion and disunity. Because if the world were balanced, if the world were in harmony, there would be a lot of things that have been introduced to us in throughout over the years of time that people have benefited from, people have profited from, I want to say, that because they use us in that way. If we're in our natural state, we're in harmony. We're in harmony with ourselves, and we're in harmony with nature. So I would say, instead of saying enemy, because we say it, but let's say opposing energies. So you got to balance those energies out. You got to be the stronger energy. You got to be the one that's able to walk into a room and change the atmosphere in there. Especially, I mean, when it's good. I mean, you might be, some folks can walk in and make it feel, uncomfortable. But you ever seen people that can walk into a room and command the room because of their presence? You want to be the one that can bring balance to life. And there are those that don't want that to happen. And that's when I say enemy, that's what I mean. That is those opposing energetic forces. And it could be in your own family sometimes.
Oh yeah, I guess I don't need anything to combat the enemy. I just got a big can of effort, and I move on.
And you came equipped with the strength to do what you do. Everybody can't do that. You got some people who say are empaths, and everybody, excuse me, shit, they take it on, and they can't help it. They can't help but absorb other people's pain, other people's, heartbreak, every sob story that comes their way. Now they trying to figure out how they're going to bring a solution to it. And you were probably born with the ability to stand firm in who you are. Like, oh yeah, I hear you. But it's like what they say, Teflon, it don't stick to you.
Well, Dr. G, I know you're a healer in your own right, and Dr. Lee left, so I do have a question for you. I feel like a lot of times we focus on the herbs for ourselves, and not that that's wrong or anything like that, or like healing the elderly, but do you know of anything you recommend, like for the children? Does Dr. Lee help with children, especially when it comes to their mindset, focusing their mind, helping different things with their brain, neurology, or anything like that?
I believe that a couple of what we energetic nutritional products that we have that would help children. One would be, and I would have to check, like I'm not sure how old the child is, but we have one called NeuroSpark, which actually you can hear brain there. And NeuroSparks is an energy signature that helps safeguard brain cells and enhances thinking abilities and promotes a sense of calmness. The digital ingredients are I can't, some of these herbs, samabaya, ginkgo biloba, that's, herba, tosteo. It's a couple of 4 or 5 herbs, but I can't even pronounce them right, but it's here. Ginger root is the last one. So I think something like a NeuroSpark. We actually have a vitamin formula that's called K100 that is for young people up to age, let me see, K100 multivitamin. That one would probably, and it's got a little bit of everything in it. It's for anybody under children, I think it's good for maybe preteens up to 18. And it's a multivitamin, but I think NeuroSparks, and even if they're like bouncing off the walls, probably Calm. We have a one called Calm, which is probably good for somebody that might just need to, slow down. But I would check that directly with, I'm not, what ages are we talking about?
7, about to be 8. Well, he's a big 7. It's like 4'8" now, a little bit over 4'8" in height. He's my height. So
What I can do, wow, yeah, and he said, are you short? Because he tall.
yeah, I'm like 5'3", so he's almost there. But yeah.
So what you can do is, if you go on Dr. Lee's website, I think there's a number you can call for consultation, or we can try to do an online energy therapy session and just send it to you over the phone with him there and see what kind of you see if you see any immediate results. But like I said, this is something that you could be giving him energetically, or you could then put that in the dropper bottle, like I mentioned, make a 30-day supply of it by running 2 energy sessions into the bottle, and now you've got your own 30-day supply. And then he just takes 3 drops under his tongue twice a day, and he can take, if it's 2 or 3 of them, he can do them all 3, and because all he's going to taste is water, but the effect is in the water. So get my number.
And I will. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
And we can try a session.
Wow, over the phone? That's something
Absolutely.
serious. So what can you do for my back over the phone? Because I'm not nowhere near you. So
pain be gone. Emergency pain be gone. It'll be a 5-minute process. It's relieves pain and inflammation. Did you injure your back?
I just did a lot of hard manual work these last 10 years, and they want me to take those shots because it's my back. It's like it's bone on bone. All of the gristle, all of the cartilage is gone. So it's bone.
Okay, so you have like stenosis.
Yeah.
Wait, you said all the gristle?
I mean the cartilage.
That's what we used to say back in the day. When they were eating that stuff, and the grandma would be like, "Yeah, get on that gristle." I know what you meant, though. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, gosh, it's late. But yeah, we could do it over the phone. We can do it. But like, once you do that, what you want to do is you want to join Alice, because you put it in there, and you want to get your own for $65 a month. That's and what I love about it is like my subscription for this month is going to be over on the 27th. I haven't used all of my 100 up. I got like 50 some sessions left, so I better use them right for somebody. But you can do as many as you want, whenever you want, and you can just put your phone on your back and run the frequency. And it's better. We have the little speakers, little JBL handheld speakers, and because you get a better sound. We put that speaker right on the place where the pain or where the discomfort is, and let that vibration go. But you can do it with just a phone.
But I have to be a believer in this in order for it to work? Is it like
this not that kind of stuff. This isn't the belief. This is actual energy. It don't care whether you believe it or not.
I got to try it out because I'm a skeptic. I don't believe nothing.
Well, good. You the kind we like. And then this ring right here that I'm wearing. This is what Robin experienced, what Sister Freedom experienced with this ring. If I take, I went and did this last week at a festival, and I took my ring off, and I told people to stand with their feet together, put their hands down like this, and don't let me. I take my hand and I push it down in there, push it down and move, and they move. You know how you moving people, and I said, don't let me move you, and they can't stay balanced. I said, now hold this ring or put it on your finger. Put the ring on the finger. I can try to jump up and down on their hand and can't move them.
That is a fact.
Like, and they don't know. Robin, are you back here? Freedom?
Yeah, I said that's a fact.
Yeah, you can't. The strength comes through the body, so it strengthens the body. It relieves pain. You can even put the ring on the place where the pain is, right? And get relief like that. And it's the energy, because we talk about energy that was put in every common stainless steel ring. But you don't have to believe it. You just have to experience it. So
it's
I'm
not
gonna call y'all this weekend. Then I'm gonna call y'all this weekend.
It's not gonna hurt to try, right, Nisha? You can't lose nothing by trying. I believe if she want to try it, she's already in a form of believing, because she wants the help. She wants to
No, that don't have nothing to do with belief, lad. Because I want something that I'm not believing it work. I'm believing it not to work, so I can prove myself right that it's not gonna work.
Well, I hope it does work for you. I hope it works for me. I hope, because I got some little aliens I want to get fixed too. So I hope it works for everybody that experiences it, because that would be remarkable, that we wouldn't have to go
Well,
to
I definitely believe in the herbalist side of things and everything, and I know no any and the energy. What am I talking about? I have crystals and all that, but back to the herbalist side of things, I definitely know that that's real. Like with certain herbs and everything like that, is just when it comes to like JJ and the autism, since they don't even know like how it's coming about, they say metals from vaccines, they say heavy metal diets, they say it could be genetic and all this other stuff. There's so many theories on it. It's kind of hard of finding like what supplements are best and all this other stuff. I saw some white people put some supplements together to put in a drink, but I tasted it. It's nasty. I like he would not drink this.
No, he ain't going to do it.
So we have something also called blood detox. And it's a digital energy signature that may help detoxify the organ and cleanses the blood. So I heard you mention, heavy metals and so forth. So we just find out, have a talk with Dr. Lee about his age, but you say he's a big boy, but his age and the types of what the diagnosis is that they're already saying. So he's on the spectrum where they're actually saying he's autistic.
Yeah, that he's on the spectrum, autistic,
but he functions.
And he's like mid. He functions, but he's nonverbal. So right now he uses a communication device. He's master words on the communication device, but he's not really talking.
I'm going to be honest with you. Because of the type of diagnosis you have, I strongly, and I mean this, I strongly encourage you to get a consultation with Dr. Lee. Seriously, look at some of his, videos online, but get for $75 the consultation. Matter of fact, anybody in my team that joins, and I call my team anybody that just uses my link to come in, and get their Alice membership, they can literally get a free consult with him. So he and I just talked about that. So he's going to do that for me, for my, anybody that I encourage to get, that gets their own membership. And it's very, very valuable. He loves to take the prognosis or diagnosis that the medical doctors have given and prove them wrong.
Absolutely. I'll definitely be getting a membership. I'll get Sister Freedom to get you in contact with me directly, and then we'll go from there too.
Right. So I put, my link for that is in, I think you all put it in a chat. It ends with the Dr. G is official, and you can go on and see about. But like I said, and once you become a member, you're automatically an affiliate too. So anybody you share it with, you can share it, and it'll bring up not a whole lot, but I don't mind. I'm not even worried about the little funds, but it does give you a little something. But I like the satisfaction of people getting healed. I like, to me, that makes much more sense than many of the things that I spend a lot of finances for. And if you're like me, I got a cabinet and containers full of everything that somebody said would work, but it really didn't.
Me too.
So I'm sick of that.
Okay. Dr. G, let me ask you something. And does he have any form of creams or anything with any of these herbs that you're talking about?
You might want to go on the website, on his website, the Simple Truth LLC, and see. But if it's like, say somebody has a skin problem, we actually have a formula in here for skin situations.
Well,
we got one for eczema.
Here. Yeah, that's the what I was just wondering if that you were talking about.
There's one. It's not an actual cream, but there is. You can make the bottles, like I said, or it's called skin. We call it skin allergy aid. And on top of that, you can turn your phone, turn the light on your phone and give yourself light therapy. Say you have eczema on your arm or your body, you can actually do it that way. But you could also do the bottles and then take the supplements. But it is an energy signature that may help protect skin cells, relieve symptoms of psoriasis, reduces inflammation and free radicals, and maybe some other things. If you know exactly why or how long you've had it, that you might have to have a conversation with him. But I'd start with that because it's available in the Alice membership, and you can do it yourself. Yep. So it's a little bit of something, for almost everybody. For I mean, they even have one where it's called water conversion. And this one is one where you convert your water. You know how we're drinking the horrible water? You can actually convert your water using the frequency. All the containers holding water must be interconnected. So say you got 3 or 4 gallons of water, you need to put all the bottles together, and the phone must come in contact with the receptacle. A maximum of 4 gallons or packs containing 24 bottles of water can be added at once, and you can make that water healthy water from your phone.
Okay. Well, this was a good night with a lot of information, and we really appreciate it, Dr. G. We appreciate you coming. I'm scared to push anything on this computer of mine, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. That's why I had to go out.
Well, I appreciate you all having me on. I know I was in maybe like a year or more or so ago. You all had me on, and like I said, but I appreciate this one because I got a chance to share something that I think can help so many people. Something I'm so excited about. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that it has. We have we'll have to see. We have a product on here also called telomeres. Before we go, telomeres. If you look up telomeres, that's like the way Dr. Lee explained it on one of the calls was, and I've known about telomeres, but at the end of your shoestrings, you have those little plastic things like on the end of your sneaker thing to keep the shoestring from fraying. Well, we have at the end of our DNA, our little DNA strands, we have like something like called telomeres at the end. But over time and age, those things start to wear off. And so instead of that little plastic thing keeping the shoestring all together, your shoestring starts to fray. Well, that happens with the telomeres, and they claim that when you get down to the bottom and that little telomere, that little cap is gone, it indicates, like it was the death of that chromosome or whatever, and it helps with rapid aging. And so we have something called telomeres that actually helps with reversing what happens. And what they tell us to do is to take a picture of ourselves. And then you start, doing the sessions with telomeres. You can do both, put the phone on you, and you can take the drops. In day to day, in 30 days, you should see a difference in your appearance. It's going to reverse. People are seeing a reversing. They want you to take a picture so you can see what did you look like on day 1 and what did you look like you might take day 10, day 20, and then day 30. But you should see a difference if you're consistently using that.
Wow.
And you know what? The proof is in the pudding, Dr. G. Honestly, the proof is in the pudding because you actually look like the life that you're teaching about. Honestly, truly. No, really. You look glowingly beautiful. And so like to hear your personal health journey, from where you came to where you are now, it's remarkable.
Well, I thank you for that. But I cannot attribute that part. Like I said, I turned 71 in March. So, but that was part of my mentality going back.
71.
71.
You're gonna be 71. Come
so
on.
I'm going to be 72 when my next birthday comes to see it. But I'm saying that was happening. That happened with mindset. So I'm expecting like at the end of 30 days to look better than this. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
So we got to see. We got to see what happens. But more than look, I want to feel better. And that's the thing. That's the thing. We want to feel better. It looks it's good to look good, but it's better to feel good.
That's right. I'm gonna come from the inside.
But I thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Quite so.
Dr. G, right quick before you go. So I'm on this website, right? And is this his website or is this your website?
You're on the Simple Truth LLC.
No, ma'am. I'm on the Advanced Liaison Yielding Solutions.
The website is thesimpletruthllc.com.
Hold on, because I'm confused. Because I see the plans and stuff. So, okay, so
now,
I see the simple.
If you want to come and if you want to actually join the thing of join the Alice, become a member, my link was put in the chat. It was, and we can. I give it. What I'll do is I'll give it to Sister Freedom if you don't see it, and tell her to just text it to all of y'all. If you want to use it, you can. If not, you'll just have it.
Okay.
You're right. And
okay, I see the simple truth. I got you.
Yeah, and get it, Sister Freedom, and put it in the group chat.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, she'll give you my link to join Alice. What you see for his link is to go on his website for supplements and the key ring, the ring that I talked about. If you want to join Alice, it's the link it's the link that I'll give to Sister Freedom, and I think it was already put in the. I saw it pop up like not too
right. That's the first one that I went to. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. G is official at the end. But so like I said, this is energy is real, and we need to further that. And you would even put my phone number out there if anybody wants to call me. My phone number is out in the world anyway. I think I'm gonna put it in there for you all because I can do my best to try to direct you if this whole conversation kind of confused you, but no, not you. I mean, people, not you. There's my phone number.
Yep.
So I put my phone number there for you all, and you can share it because it's out there. So I don't really. Everybody in the world has my phone number.
You want us to share it on right now? You sure?
Contact. If they listen, are
you sure?
Oh, I don't care. They can text me and say it's about Alice. I don't care. Yeah. I'd rather, I'll send them a link if they want it or try to get them in touch with Dr. Lee. Get them on. We have a call every Monday and Wednesday. The Monday night, we learn about another one of our products and how it works better, one of the supplements. And then we also get testimonies. I saw Sister Sekhmet had put there about her. She had a session with her and her son. It's my first session I did with my son and Dr. Lee. I need to share. Feel so much more movement in she said maybe she means head, but I heard part of her testimony this evening, and she was, because she gave it out that she was dealing with she's an empath, and the sister's an empath, and she could not stop crying because she's crying for everybody's stuff. When you're really, really empathic like that, you can't even get find your own peace. I think whatever session she did, and she made, I don't know if she used calm or whatever, but I heard the end of her testimony. She said, I haven't cried all day. And she was like, I cry every day. And then when she did her session and took the calm, I guess I'm going to assume it was calm, and she can correct me in the chat. But whatever she did with Dr. Lee, and her son is going through a lot of health challenges, she, for the first time in a long time, has felt better. Now that's, when all you need is some peace. And if all of a sudden it comes, I know it feels so much better than being in confusion and being in chaos and crying. So that's one of the energetic things that she took.
And a lot of people battle bathroom issues, like constipation, and all of that.
Yeah, we got colon cleanse. We got you see it. There's a colon cleanse in there that they can energetically give themselves. Yep, all that. We got even stuff for men. Alpha male enhancement, digitized editing signature design.
Come on, Dr. G. Say that again. I'm just
Preach. The rest of that dysfunction, ED. The transfer of energy involves the following molecules: Yohimbi,
Don't be ashamed, brothers. Don't be ashamed.
Huana
Don't be
Pro,
ashamed.
Macho Long, Jack, Horny Goat Weed, Panax, Ginseng, Yerba Mate, Cayenne, Tribulus, and Turris. Brothers, for that alone, many of you might want to get yourself a membership.
I
You
love
get
it. I
all
love it.
52, though. You get everything.
Ah, look, Boom said we need it for real, for real. Okay, clock it. Nah. Reach. Nah. Real talk, Boom.
Well,
Because we don't want a puppy. We want a big dog. That part. That part.
that part.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing.
All
This
right,
is a great.
what is it? It's getting hot in here.
Let's get it out here. This was a good conversation.
This was a
Thank
good
you, Dr. G.
conversation.
Thank you
It
so
really
much.
was. It was very informative. Very, very informative.
Thank you. So I don't know, I don't know if you gave your
It's over.
number. I don't see it. You didn't put it out there. You said I don't want to give people your number, right? It's out there, but yeah.
Look, even our sister segment know it's real, right? Look at her little bars. The vibration of Lilith. Look, the ladies are coming in. Look at them. 100, 100. Let's talk about it, ladies.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame.
All right, this is good.
Exactly. She's using the calm. She's the one who used the calm.
So yeah, y'all
she's
hit us Dr. G website. Support. This was amazing. Cousins in the chat, we appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all are like the real MVPs for real. We appreciate the support. We really, really do.
I forgot to say to you all that we are having a conference next month at the House of Reawakening Minds from the 27th to the 30th. And it's called The Women Are Ready, the War. We're finally ready to kick off the war. The women are ready. And if they go to our website, houseofreawakeningminds.org, you can see more details about it. But ladies, if you're ready to, put they say boots on the ground and us get our communities together and organize in our various regions and so forth, check out our conference. Every year we normally have a conference around August, and it's normally just a journal. We're inviting the brothers to come too, but this is focusing on the war. It's the founding convocation. It's been 3 years in the making. I was gathering hundreds and hundreds of sisters sent in their emails and said, I want to be a part of the war. Well, finally, we are coming together with a convocation on August 27th through 30th. And we would love to see you all here from far and near so that we can get organized, because the women truly are ready. So thank you for that.
Well, okay, the night is over. And we will have you again, Dr. G, because this was beautiful. Like I said, very informative, and we appreciate you. You know what I mean?
I love what y'all are doing.
Thank you. And we appreciate for those who hung in here with us, our cousins in the chat. Okay. And I guess tonight, like I said, tonight's over. And Dot, you're gonna have to close this out. Dot, can you hear me?
Peace, everyone. Peace and love.
Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time.